Hey guys, welcome back to No Menus for This Life with your boy Sean Cleveland. Yeah, it's a new episode. I know I've been going for a minute, but I've had a lot going on. I'm sure we all have. So I figured I'd come back, drop some more episodes for the people that find it interesting. Today I'm not going to do a specific topic. What I'll do is I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of things in my head, so I'm probably just going to declutter, and I think that's healthy sometimes when you just get the things on your mind out. So I'm gonna jump straight into it. This episode is called Thoughts, Volume One. Okay, everybody. So in this episode, I just want to go over something I've touched on previously. It's the idea that well, at this point in the episode, it's the idea that people make time for who they want to make time for. People text, call, and reply to the people that they want to talk to. So never believe anyone who says that they are too busy all of the time. Yes, people have busy lives and have full schedules at times, but no one is too busy all of the time, every minute of every single day. Remember, if they wanted to be around you or share their time with you, then they would. I'm sure you notice them sharing their time with other people. That time came from somewhere. That time looks planned. So believe that when you see that. So when they don't make that same time for you, they didn't want to. So don't allow people to find time for you, to fit you in if they can. Remember, I'll say it again, people make time for the things that are important to them. So if they don't make time for you ever, then you are not important to them. For example, when a woman is into you and wants to be connected to you, she will drop everything to answer your call, answer your text, or find her way to where you are. Because you are the primary thing on her mind and she wants your attention. And men are the same way. If you are the object of a man's attention or of his affection, he will drop everything to pursue you until he gets the attention he craves from you or whatever it is he wants from you. He'll call out of work. He'll leave work early. He'll stand his friends up. He'll blow them off. He'll diss them for you. He'll disregard what they want and what they want to do because his focus is on the person who has his attention, who he wants to give his time and effort to and all his energy to. He will pursue you. So when people tell you that they have no time for you, especially if you're trying to be in a relationship with them, you're having sex together, you're doing all the things in your mind that's building a relationship. This happens so often to women. But then the man always has a reason why he can only see you when it's time for sex. He doesn't value you in the way that you value him. You got to pay attention to that. See, now, personally, I want to give my time to people that want to give me theirs. So by taking a close, critical look at the experiences that I've had with people, I have grown to understand that some people stay in your life just to keep you around, not because they value you and care about you and your well-being or the way that you feel. No, they keep you around for those opportunities and those times when they need you. An occasional text, an occasional reach out. That's just to keep the lines of communication open for when they need you to step in and support them or for whatever their reasons are. It's not because they value you or because you're important in their life. Because if you were, you'd speak to them more often. You'd actually see them more. They'd text. You'll get more than just a "how is the kids" text or have a good holiday text. It would be a legitimate connection. You would spend time in each other's lives. See, you serve a purpose for them. Some people keep you around, just for that when they need you. They don't want to support you. You're not valuable. I can't emphasize that enough. So once those situations where they need you are over or have been resolved, they fall right back into obscurity and you barely hear from them again until the next time that they need you around, to put it simply. So nowadays I have very few friends because I no longer sit in reserve to help those that don't interact with me regularly during those times when I need help and support or when I don't need help. You know, just those people that want to talk to me, want to correspond, want to connect, want to interact. I bet if I took a moment and no, actually, no, I bet if you took a moment, if all of us just took a moment and thought about it, there are people in our lives that treat us just like that. And actually, and if we're honest with ourselves, completely honest with ourselves, I bet we can think of some people that we treat that way also. Just think about it for a moment. And let's take a quick break before we jump into the next topic. On this episode of No Manuals for This Life with your boy, Sean Cleveland. Right about here, I'd like to interject or place a public service announcement for all my fellas with regard to relationships. This is something that a lot of us don't look at as a negative, and in some instances it may not turn out negatively, but it does run the risk of becoming a negative. And what I'm speaking of is when you aggressively and over pursue a woman in terms of putting her on a pedestal and giving her everything she wants when you first meet her and when you're trying to date her. In other words, you're putting your best foot forward constantly and spending all the money you have or doing everything, making her the queen of the universe to convince her to want to be with you. There's nothing wrong with treating a woman exceptional. I think it's a beautiful thing. Now, the problem takes place, or what the problem is, or what becomes the problem, is when, say you succeed in gaining the favor of this woman and starting a relationship, and the two of you get in a relationship. You've succeeded. You got what you wanted. But then the old cliche and the old adage comes into play sometimes. Sometimes you get what you ask for, meaning now you have a woman whose expectation is that you will maintain the behaviors that you used and the actions, take those same actions that you took to convince her to be with you. You have to constantly keep her on a pedestal. You're not allowed to act normal and treat her with some sense of normalcy, because then that'll be problematic. And eventually she won't want to be with you anymore and she'll leave. It's almost, in some instances, it becomes like you purchased her affection and that wasn't even your intention. I'll speak on that in more detail in another episode. I just wanted to place that as a PSA because someone mentioned that to me and I just wanted to say it while it was on my mind. Okay. So let's switch back to some of my other thoughts. What other thoughts am I having right now? Things that I'd like to speak on. Give me a moment. Actually, before I switch back, let me finish that point. The reason that is a PSA and the reason I think it becomes problematic, especially for my fellas, and the reason I say fellas is because nowadays, women with social media and things like that, average women, ordinary women, extraordinary women, all women get extreme amounts of attention without putting any real effort forward. It's how they look, their body type, whatever it is. They get an abundance of attention from a lot of different men, so they don't have to put any effort forward. Whereas on the other hand, men have to convince women to be with them. Like an average guy has to put all this energy in and do all this convincing. And the reason I feel like that's problematic is because if you have to convince someone to be with you, you may not be their first option. They might not even consider you their best option. But if you convince them to be with you, you must spend a lifetime convincing that person to want to stay with you. And in most relationships, you're supposed to do that on some level. But I think in an instance where it was an extreme aggressive pursuit, where it took a lot of convincing or required money or status, things, whatever it was, if it wasn't just genuine connection through feeling, I think that can be very problematic. That was why I mentioned the PSA. So now let's take that quick break before we switch topics. Your boy, Sean Cleveland. Thank you for taking that break with me. So let's jump back into it. This next topic I'm going to tie into the previous one we discussed. And what it's about is how we as a people, or we as individuals, have a tendency to turn down our light or dumb ourselves down because the people connected to us cannot handle our brightness or do not understand what we are saying or doing or pursuing. But please remember, it's not for them, but it's for you, or it's who you are or who you are becoming. And it's okay if those around you cannot relate or understand. That simply means that their connection to you is time sensitive and you guys are going in different directions. Or sometimes it's as simple as the fact that you and your friend or your loved one simply see that particular thing differently. Sometimes it should end the connection, and other times it's just an agree to disagree situation. But regardless of what it is, it's your vision, your feelings, and who you are. And that is okay. They have to either take you or leave you. It sounds cut and dry, it sounds black and white, it sounds harsh, but why would you want to be in a relationship where you have to accommodate other people by changing who you are? Don't you want realistic, true relationships where they know you up front, face value? It's not a version of you. It's not a shadow of you. It's not some image you portray. Don't you want them to know the real person, all your quirks, your ins, your outs, so you can have a true connection? I say this especially in terms of being in a romantic relationship, because if you are ambitious and driven or simply growing regularly and going in a certain direction, then the person you are connected to should be going in that same direction too, or else at some point it will cause serious problems because there will be two people trying to share one life but with two completely different viewpoints. That's a very tough thing to do. Some people we meet are meant to be a lesson and not a lifetime. And we need to learn that there's a difference between the two and then learn to be okay with that. And piggybacking off of this, I had a conversation with a close friend of mine about how some people don't love you. They don't even care about you. They just want to stay connected to you. The love and the benefits of being in your life, they want those things. They don't want to give you those things. They just want the benefits of being connected to you. This is what I mean. So they do the minimum. A text here and there, a little phone call just to check in, so they stay in your mind somewhere. They're to let you know that they're thinking about you. But what they're really doing is maintaining a connection to you so that when they need you, then they still have a way in to get to you. You can recognize these people easily because they are never there when you are in trouble or in a crisis, but they are the first person, but you are the first person that they call when they are in need. And you only see them in person for more than 5 minutes if everything's good with their life. But when there's trouble going on, you can't get rid of them. You'll talk to them a million times in one day. When everything's good, you'll probably talk to them once in that entire year. But if they got an issue, something that they believe you can solve or help them with, all of a sudden you're their best friend. You're their closest family member. And you're talking to them more in one day or more in one week than you did in the last 5 years. And aside from that, honestly, I think if we took a quick inventory of our lives, we'll find a lot of people like that within our circle, of friends or family. And on the other side of that coin, if we're truly honest with ourselves and doing a true self-assessment, I guarantee that we can see people we are connected to that we've done that very thing to. People that we've stayed connected to out of necessity, not because they're valuable to us. It sounds a little crazy, but we all tend to do it. And sometimes we don't even notice that we're doing it. All right, so in closing out this episode, I just want to leave you all with these final thoughts that cross my mind periodically. And I'm bringing them up now because I recently came across something and I saw them put together, and it sounded good when you hear them together. It sounded like a lesson that some people could benefit from. So here it is. First, remember that hurt people hurt others. But fortunately, healed people try to heal others. Safe people save and shelter others, while free-spirited people promote free spirits in other people. And then you have those enlightened people that help illuminate and enlighten others. And although love can sometimes end in hurt, to me it is always worth the risk. So chase love, share love, accept love, and be kind, because it costs nothing. And it does matter. So that's it for this episode. Check it out. It's your boy, Sean Cleveland. No manuals for this life. Till next time.